Hey guys, this is Afr0Blu3 with my entry for Asalieri's Whenever the Hell Review Contest number 3. Today I'm looking at Rocket Knight, a sequel to the Konami classics Rocket Knight Adventures and Sparkster, released on the Xbox Live Arcade. There seems to have been a trend recently for rebooting series in their classic format on current generation consoles, with New Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mega Man 9 and 10, plus the upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog 4. It seems to be an idea that's only gaining momentum, and paving the way for new titles, such as Explosion Man and Shadow Complex. The big question is, does the Rocket Knight formula still hold up to today's standards? Fortunately, we're in familiar territory here, and the team have stayed true to our hero's origins. Bright colours can be found everywhere, the rocket pack on your back is an invaluable tool, and there are still several ways to defeat your enemies and traverse platforms. Once again, the plot is very simple, taking a back seat and allowing you to jump straight into the game. I do have a small gripe with the graphics though. They do their job, however I'd have preferred to have seen hand-drawn animations, like those found in Braid and Street Fighter 2 HD. I feel that the older game's sprites look more aesthetically pleasing than the low-poly 3D models on offer here. It's a matter of personal preference, and it doesn't detract from the overall experience of the game, and the general presentation is very tidy and polished. Still, it just bugs me a little. The pacing has clearly had some thought put into it. The opening levels are relatively simple and have instructions on what controls are on signposts and billboards in the background. It's not subtle, but it breaks new players in whilst allowing old fans of the Opossum to quickly figure out how their favourite moves have been mapped to the 360's pad. Later levels see exploring fiendish mechanisms, racing against the clock across platforms, and dodging multiple projectiles at once. The game starts to make clever use of the jetpack, forcing precision-timed bursts and ricochets to reach your goals, without becoming frustrating, even reminding me of Explosion Man towards the end. Bosses are the standard fare for platformers. Experienced gamers will quickly figure out their patterns and bring them to their knees. That's not to say the battles aren't memorable, but they certainly aren't anything we've not seen before, and it would have been nice if they'd brought something new to the table. The flying levels return and are a refreshing change of pace that breaks up the game without feeling out of place. Pure nostalgia, even if it ignores the rules of propulsion. The game is quite short. The average player will probably beat it in 2 hours, with little replay value beyond achievement hunting and trying the harder difficulty setting. Yet this is exactly what I expected, seeing as this is based around the Mega Drive Super Nintendo era, and most games I have for those consoles can be beaten in this time limit. Obvious exceptions for games such as Chrono Trigger, of course. Another flaw is that the game loves to recycle enemies, and even later in the game when the wolf enemies are finally replaced with pigs, they all work the same way. They shoot the same way, they melee the same way, and there are some that throw bombs you have to bounce back at them, exactly the same as the wolves do with dynamite. It gets to a point where the enemies aren't a threat, they're just there to be jumped over or quickly killed, a minor inconvenience. The game's unique selling point has always been Sparkster's very own way of getting around via jetpack-fueled bursts. If you do such a burst at an angle into a wall, you'll bounce off at a 45-degree angle. The more you bounce, the more distance you can cover. You can also use it as an attack, and it's a mechanic the series continues to use brilliantly. My complaint is that it's still activated by using the B button whilst pointing in a direction. This was fine for the Mega Drive, but this is the 360. We have a right analog stick going to waste, and we could have performed some awesome maneuvers by flicking the right stick, like we did in Skate. All in all, this was an extremely fun game for a reasonable price. Fans of the old game will feel right at home, and there's lots of classic platforming for newcomers to enjoy too. Provided you can get past its short length, this game proves that older gameplay mechanics aren't dead yet, and that simplicity definitely works. This has been Afr0Blu3, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.